Hi, I'm Trish. As promised, this is my next video about esophageal manometry and pH monitoring, which I've had done today. This comes out tomorrow. I wish it was out hours ago, and it was only put in hours ago. I really don't like this test. I'm having this done because I had a sleeve gastrectomy done. Ooh, yeah, just ignore all that mess in the background. I'm having this done because I had a sleeve gastrectomy done back in May last year. It's just gone March this year, and I've been having a lot of problems with reflux and choking in the middle of the night, like in my sleep. That's always fun to wake up in the middle of the night choking. I'll give you a close-up of what it looks like. There's a tube that goes up my nose and like down the back of my throat, down into my stomach, 35 centimetres. To give you an idea how far that is, here's my little flexi ruler that's 30 centimetres high. So it's about another 5 centimetres on that. So if you look at it, if it goes like down my nose and like down the back of my throat and whatever, it probably goes down to about here. And if I think it goes down to about there. It goes down to, they first do the esophageal manometry, which is to measure that the peristalsis in my throat is working properly. So then they measure where the lower esophageal sphincter is, which is the one that opens and closes to let your food drop into your stomach. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So they measure how far down that is in your body, and mine is, the top of it is 40 centimetres down. So then they make sure that this tube goes 5 centimetres above that so that they can see if reflux is coming back up. But I'll go back to the start. First they do the esophageal manometry, which is it's a 3 ml tube that goes down all the way into your stomach, so further than this one. It would be probably at least 42 centimetres, so much further than this one goes down. And they get you to like swallow sips of water as they're putting it down. They put a local anaesthetic up your nose and then you swallow it, so your throat goes numb to a degree. And then so that they can get the tube down, they get you to swallow little sips of water, and you basically swallow the tube down, or you assist the tube going down. And then they measure what happens with your esophagus as you swallow water, and they do different tests. They do one where I have to actually lay down and not swallow for a minute, which takes a lot of concentration. You don't realise how automatically you just swallow when your mouth fills up with saliva. Then they do another one they put a syringe in your mouth with 5 ml of water. They squirt the water into your mouth and then they tell you to swallow it, and it's only 5 ml, so it's not much. You do that 10 times over like a period of time, and then they did one, they called it ramping or something. I don't know what that means. I haven't Googled it yet. But it's to, I don't know, see what your stomach does or something when you've been sleeved. I think they only do that on patients who've been sleeved. And they do the same thing, syringe of water in your mouth, but they use, instead of 5 ml, 25 ml. They squirt it into your mouth and then you swallow it, and then they watch what happens. And I think they did that one 3 or 4 times. And then the tube comes out. It's okay when the tube comes out. I gagged, but I didn't vomit. It made me wonder how many times they have been vomited on. And they've got like their computer screen that shows everything that's happening. Oh, and of course, because I get really anxious about this test, it's the 3rd time I've had esophageal manometry done. It's not pleasant. And the 2nd time I've had the pH monitoring, they of course had a student in there doing this for the very, very first time. But as he said, he's seen it done many, many times, and I thought, oh, I know legally I'm within my rights to say, no, I don't want a student doing this, I'm too anxious or whatever, but I didn't, because it sort of feels really weird and borderline hurts when I talk, so I've got to make it quick. but I didn't say no because I've been in his position before, not with doing this sort of testing, but with, you know, ECGs and blood tests and all that sort of thing when I was learning, you know, all those years ago how to do all that. So I know how important it is to have patients who are willing to be learned on. And I don't mind having a student as well because they're learning and they're fully supervised. You know that the test is going to be done absolutely 1,000,000% properly because they need to be taught properly. So that's one of the advantages. So they finished that. From their little chitter chatter as they were doing it, I think it did show a bit of reflux, but nothing major. But you know, I'd had nothing to eat today when they did that test. Then they get it's a much finer tube. They get that same thing up my nose, down my throat, down to 5 centimetres above the esophageal junction, gastroesophageal junction, or sphincter. Same thing, I think. And then they tape it on. They leave it there. That was put on at about 10:30 this morning. I've got to go back to the Alfred tomorrow morning. They said any time after 10:30. I'll be there at 10:30 on the dot because it's very unpleasant to have it removed. And so that's going to be an hour's drive into the Alfred. I'll pay $10 for parking, and this tube literally takes about 2 seconds to come out. I think last time I went into this lady's office and she ripped it out and I was gone in like less than a minute. It was that quick. So it feels funky to swallow, it feels funky to eat, it feels funky to talk. Good luck, nights. Thank you, Wellington Costa, I think it was. Thank you. Yeah, and because I had to drive into Windsor to have this done at the Avenue. I like to sing in the car. I like to sing all day, and I can't sing because it just vibrates too weird in here and feels really yucky. I mean, you can imagine it feels weird to talk, let alone trying to sing. Oh, thank you. Wellington Costa's being really, really sweet. So they gave me some paperwork. I have to abide by some rules for this. And so this is my face without makeup. Look at that redness. No makeup, because I'm not allowed to. So I have to, for this pH monitoring, I have to avoid acidic foods like fruit, juices, tomato products and dishes, cordial coffee, alcohol, soft drinks, and kombucha. I normally like to have kombucha each day, but I won't be able to today. Tea is fine. Thank God I'm going to have a cup of tea very, very soon. I'm not allowed to adjust the position of it. Now you can see if you look closely, the tape's sort of starting to lift there where it goes in. I've got some, where it is, I've got some other tape. It's just like this, but it's brown. So I will be later on putting a nice big piece of tape down here for when I sleep, or if I actually have a nap later I will, just to make sure that it doesn't come off. And it's taped down my neck here. When I go to bed, I will probably tape it like down in between my boobs because I don't sleep with a bra on. I'll probably tape it down to between my boobs, and I've got this cool little bag that the machine goes into. It's just a little machine, very small. It's not that heavy. It does weigh a bit more than a mobile phone, but it's I don't really notice it, and I'll have to wear that to bed, and I won't be allowed to shower in the morning until all this comes out. So I will tonight when I go to bed. I'll get that cord and I'll tape it all down properly so that I don't have to worry about like it moving when I sleep, because I sleep like a rotisserie. I roll all night. I've got to record any medication that I take. I've got to record the start and end of meals, including snacks and what I'm eating and drinking. And it's all here. They give you like places to write it all down. Plus, if I have symptoms, I've got to write down what the symptom was and the time and all that sort of thing. So it's things like heartburn, acid reflux. Isn't that the same thing? I don't know. Chest pain, regurgitation, stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, taste of acid in the mouth or throat. It says, do not record discomfort or inconvenience caused by the tube recorder, etc. That page would be full if I had to do that. So I've already had reflux, quite burning reflux, or not reflux, heartburn, burny heartburn. So I've written that down, just the times. That heartburn will probably get worse throughout the day, so I'll just write it all down. And I may or may not wake up choking in the middle of the night. If that happens, I'll write that down. That's the main symptoms I get, other than last week when I ended up in emergency with extremely, extremely bad stomach and chest and back pain. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen today, because I am not in the mood to be sitting in emergency for hours today. They also gave me a Monash University upper gastrointestinal symptoms and quality of life in sleep gastrectomy patients questionnaire. Just a lot of, it's about 1 million pages. I'm going to fill that out when I finish this video. Just mainly about heartburn, regurgitation, discomfort and pain, fullness and bloating. I get that a lot. Any difficulty in swallowing foods or foods getting stuck going down? Well, no, because I don't have a lap band anymore. I can actually eat. Coughing, any medications I'm taking, the sorts of foods that are difficult to swallow. I don't think I have any trouble swallowing anything. I just get mostly like bloating and stuff. Bloating, swelling. Oh, asking like my opinion of the surgery, whether I'd get it done again. More about pain, vomiting and regurgitation. I've only actually vomited, I think 2 or 3 times since I got sleeved, and that was when I was learning how to drive my sleeve. A couple of times I ate too much and I had to make myself vomit to relieve the pain, but that's only been a couple of times. Section B, which seems to be about physical activity. And then there's a lot of questions which I recognise because I've struggled with depression and anxiety my whole life. They're trying to gauge my mental well-being, which I don't really... I'll fill it out, but I'll probably attach a note to it. I don't like that because I think I don't... Because it's really only a snapshot of where I am right now. And I think they like to compare it to people before they've had weight loss surgery and then after they've had weight loss surgery. And if someone is feeling a little bit shit and depressed, anxious, whatever, prior to having weight loss surgery, and then they have the weight loss surgery, lose a lot of weight, and then they feel better, that just might be... It may very well be nothing to do with how much weight they've lost, because for me, I know that's not what makes me feel better, but I don't like that they go, oh, fat people are miserable, we give them surgery, they're not fat anymore, they're happy. It is not losing weight that makes you feel happy, it's other changes that you make in your life that make you feel happy. And then there's a bunch of questions about other symptoms after meals, like sleepiness, drowsiness, fullness, stomach gurgling, belching, vomiting, that sort of thing. And then a hunger score sheet. So that'll take me a little while to fill out, but I will because it's important, with the exception of that depression one, for them to gauge the effects that these surgeries have on people's lives and how they change your life for the good and for the bad. And I think that was about it. I have another video to make after this, but I'll probably make it next week. I've got to figure out how I'm going to make that one. I've got to have a little bit of a think about it. And I think my clinic appointment, let me check so I can tell you. What is it? It's the 4th of March today. Okay. My appointment at the bariatric clinic is on the 9th of April, so in about 4 or 5 weeks from now. And I will get the results of this testing back then and find out whether or not... I'm just checking the sticky tape. I have to sticky tape my phone up because I'm really high tech. I'll get the results then of whether or not I do have reflux and how bad it is. whether it warrants further investigation or treatment, or if they're just going to try and fob me off and go, oh, let's give it another 6 months. Oh, that's another thing I was going to mention. When I've spoken to the surgeon about this choking in the middle of the night, we have ascertained that something is coming up my throat and irritating my larynx jams shut. I wake up and I can't breathe because my throat's literally like closed up. My surgeon initially told me that having my hernia, my hiatal hernia fixed would fix that problem. It hasn't, so now he has said that it's probably not stomach acid coming up and irritating it. It's probably just saliva, and there's nothing that can be done about that. So I kind of, as much as I don't like waking up choking or unable to breathe in the middle of the night, I kind of hope it does happen tonight so that it can be recorded, and then I will know definitively whether it is acid causing that to happen or if it's just saliva causing it to happen. I would like to know one way or the other, because, you know, knowledge is power. And I think that's it. But what normally happens is I shut the video off and then I remember that I forgot to tell you something. But I'm pretty sure that's it. This will all be... actually, from memory last time, this was surprisingly comfortable to sleep with. It's just very, very uncomfortable while I'm awake, eating, talking, swallowing. So that's it. If I don't make that other video sometime this week or next week, I'll make another video in April, and that's all.